Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of our SOQI Night live video presentation. And today we're going to talk about how to care for your fur pads. I think this is very important because a lot of people don't really know how to properly take care of the fur pad or even use it correctly. So if you use the fur pads correctly, and I think they will last you a long time. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and dive right into it. The first thing you should know is that every fur pad is shipped with a instruction sheet. Okay, kind of like how to properly take care of this product. I think it's attached to the box. Okay, so before you use it, take a minute to read it. Okay, it'll help you take care of the fur pad and to ensure that you can enjoy this product long enough. Okay, I have one at home that I use very often, and I have had it for about 7-8 years now, and it works wonderfully. Okay, all right. So the first thing we do is you want to make sure that this product is actually not designed for you to sit on. Okay, because of the design inside. Okay, actually the fur pad is more designed for using as a blanket to cover your body. Okay, but can you use it? Can you lie on top of it? Yes, you can, but not for a prolonged period of time. I would say 30 minutes, an hour, that should be okay, because when you're lying down, your weight is more distributed more evenly. Okay, so that is kind of okay if you use it for like 30 minutes, an hour, something like that, especially when you want to use it for your SOQI bed. That's fine, no problem. But we definitely don't recommend you to sit on it. Okay, it's not what this product is intended for. Okay, very important, because when you're sitting on it, you're actually sitting on the sensor, okay, and the heating material. So you're more likely to damage the product if you continue to use it this way. Okay, and that's the reason why we don't recommend you to sit on it. That's number one thing. And then the number two thing, the second thing is that avoid getting this product, the fur pad, avoid getting it all bunched up. Okay, it's very important. Okay, because when it's bunched up, you're actually getting all these the wires, the heating element and the wires inside to get too close to each other. Okay, what I mean by bunched up is let me show you. Give me 1 second here. Okay, if you use it all like this, all bunched up like this is not the right way to use it. Okay, I know a lot of people enjoy having this product on their back, especially when they're sitting or working, and but over a few minutes later, this thing will slide down and it gets all bunched up. Avoid that. Very important. Okay, because the fur pad has heating wires inside. So when it gets bunched up, it means that all these heating wires are getting too close to each other. Okay, and when that happens, the wires need to dissipate heat too, right? So when you get them too close together, you're actually gonna get a little too hot and confuse the sensor in the blanket. Okay, and you're more likely to get some error message too. Okay, so avoid using it all bunched up. Very important. Okay, and of course after each use, you want to stretch it. You want to stretch the fur pad a little bit. Okay, to make sure that it goes back to its original form. That is and then you put it away. Okay, so yeah, here, number one thing, do not sit on top of the fur pad. Number two, avoid getting it all bunched up. Okay, all right, and then the next thing is storage. Every fur pad comes with a bag, a storage bag. We highly recommend you, after each use, put it back, fold it, right? Fold the fur pad the same way as it's shipped, 3 folds. That is what this bag is intended for. So why not use it? right? That's what I would say, because the bag greatly protect the product from getting dusty and those kind of things. All right, so always do that. And the next thing is cleaning, of course. Yes, you can remove the cover. Okay, the cover can be removed. You can wash the cover, but we do not recommend machine wash. Okay, don't put it in your don't just throw it into your washing machine. That's not a good thing. You should always be cold washed. Okay, you can hand clean it or cold wash. That is the proper way of cleaning the fur pad, right? Very important. Okay. Okay, so you see that this one here, it's got a picture of. It gives you a little glimpse of what's inside. Okay, you see this. After removing the cover, you're gonna have this part exposed. That is the inner blanket. Okay, and that is the part that you should protect the most. Try to protect the most. Don't get it wet or damaged. Okay. All right. So this one is a simple one. And the next thing, of course, avoid contact with any liquid. Absolutely important. And I think this is a very easy to understand why you shouldn't get it wet. So because of that, because we often receive some fur pads back here, and they are all stained or wet. Okay, I think the best way to do it is probably put an extra blanket, thin blanket, like a bed sheet type of material. If you really want to use it, for some, I know some patients they love this product, right? But some people just tend to wet this product. So if that is the case, then I would suggest that you put an extra layer of fabric, okay, like a bed sheet or those kind of thing, in order to keep it dry, keep it from any liquid damage or water damage, right? This is important because when it's damaged, when it's wet, it's very likely that it's going to affect the heating element, okay, and that may cause some shorts, electrical shorts. That's not a good thing. Okay, so this one is simple enough to understand. And of course, timer. There are some warnings, of course. When you receive this product, you're going to see some warnings over there. And the number one thing is timer has a maximum of 60 minutes. Okay, and there's a reason why we recommend 60 minutes maximum use, right? Because don't forget that this is a heating element. Okay, this product, the fur pad, is not like a hothouse. Okay, a hothouse is shaped like an arc, right? And it can kind of dissipate the heat properly and evenly too. Okay, but this product here is not this, doesn't have the same design as the hothouse. I'm sorry, I keep saying hothouse. The Grande ceramic heater. Okay, so that's the reason why it's a blanket thing, and it's in direct contact with your body, so it tends to collect heat a little more. You want to make sure that this product can dissipate heat, okay, properly dissipate the heat, and then of course can cool down properly too. Very important. Okay, so 60 minutes, of course, that's what we recommend. Now, if you really want to use it longer than 60 minutes, I would say probably after each 60 minutes, give it like 5 minutes to cool down a little bit, to cool off first, and then use it again. Okay, so that's what I would suggest. Okay, and of course, let's go over a little bit other parts of this. Avoid exposure. Okay, overexposure can cause permanent, premature aging, skin injury. This is a standard warning. Okay, avoid prolonged contact with your body. I think this is a common sense. Okay, everybody should know. And of course, I often get asked like, can I just kind of like have this thing in direct contact with the skin or those kind of thing? Can I just take off my shirt and that kind of thing? I think you should always wear some underwear or at least like a shirt or something like that when you're using the fur pad. I would say avoid, using the fur pad in direct contact with your skin for too long. Okay, that I think that's a pretty common sense, and it's really not a good thing to do, right? After all, this is a heating product that gives heat, right? So and then the next thing is if any red mark appears, please stop using the fur pad immediately. This is a very common sense because each person has different skin type, right? Some are very sensitive, some are not. So this is a very, very individual preference, okay? And then the next one is the unattended use of the fur pad by children or disabled person is not allowed. That we always have to put it there. Very important, of course. You don't want to leave it with children, right? Especially when a child is using the fur pad. Always not a good idea because especially younger children, right? Especially younger children, sometimes they don't know exactly how to describe, their problems or issues, or when they're using the product, they just kind of doesn't really know what's going on. So it's important that you bear that in mind. Okay. So troubleshooting. Okay. We get lots of calls. Sometimes we get over the years, right? Some people would call me and say, the timer is getting an error message and this and that, or why the fur pad is not lasting too long, those kind of thing. My answer is always very simple. You're probably not using it correctly. Okay, you're probably not using it correctly. So learn how to properly and correctly use this product is very important. Because like what I said earlier, I have one at home that I've been using for like 7 years now. Never had any problem. Still works great, especially winter time, right? Okay, so let's take a look at some of the problems, right? Error message on the control. Sometimes it'll give you an error message, the E message, and keep blinking, right? What does that mean? Of course, it could be electronic problem. Of course, something's wrong with the control, right? Then definitely you need to send it back for repair. But sometimes the error message is caused by a confused sensor, heat sensor. Okay, what do I mean by that? Okay, if you take a look at the fur pad, inside a fur pad there's actually a heat sensor built in. Okay, and it's right in the middle of the inside a fur pad. Okay, so the heat sensor is the heart, it's like the brain, okay, of this product. So for example, if you set it, let's say that you're using this product, you set it for 60 minutes, okay, and then you set it at 133 degree, right, and then all of a sudden, 10 minutes into the use, you say 15 minutes into the use, and you say, oh, it's a little too hot for me. I want to adjust the temperature a little bit. So you just lower the temperature to let's say 112. All right. So this will most likely confuses the sensor, because the sensor is it senses a range. This is not like an exact calibrate thing. It's like, okay, I set it at 133, then it's going to constantly be on 133. It always fluctuates a little bit. It's going to go from 128, 29, something like that. I'm sorry, 129, 130, 131, 132, or something like that, within 5 degrees. Okay, within 5 degrees. So when you when you lower the temperature to 112, all of a sudden, the sensor is still set on 133. So it'll get confused. Okay, the sensor will get confused. Okay, so what do? If you want to lower the temperature, I would say just reset it completely. Okay, just reset the temperature completely. So turn it off, let it cool off for a good 3 minutes or 5 minutes, and then you reset the time and the temperature again. Okay, so that's probably the best way to use this product. Okay, don't change the temperature, while it's in use, right? Because you're more likely to confuse the sensor. And most of the time, sometimes you get an error message because of this. Okay, so avoid adding time when it's in use. Okay, and avoid adjusting the temperature when it's in use. Okay, so I already gave you some rule of thumb here. If you want to reset it, I would always, let it cool off a little bit, cool off like, for a good 3-5 minutes, and then you reset it. Okay, all right. And avoid using, the second one is avoid using it continuously for more than an hour. Yeah, it's like, for the same reason I told you a little earlier. Okay, if you want to do it continuously, it's all right. Just give it a good 5-10 minutes to cool off a little bit more. Okay, avoid getting the fur pad all bunched up. Okay, for this I already told you about this, right? Because of the wires, they will be getting too close to each other. Okay, so that is not a good thing to do. Okay.